Hi everyone, today's recipe is one of my all-time favourite snack foods, finger foods, anytime foods, and that's a little mini quiche. They are fantastic for little kids. Emmy has requested I make some so she can have them in her freezer for after she's had the baby, so she can just pull out little snacks when she's hungry, which is a great idea. So that's what we're going to do. It's very basic. I'm doing the bacon and onion one because that's an all-round favourite, super easy, don't need anything special in the way of ingredients. Another favourite of mine is caramelised onion and brie, and I'll show you that one day, but today we're keeping it simple. So you're going to need some bacon chopped up into little pieces. The recipe will be on the website, so don't worry about that. There's an onion also chopped up small, some grated cheese, eggs, a little bit of cream. If you don't have cream, milk will be fine. We also need pastry. Now, I like this stuff. It is expensive and a little bit fiddly, but the taste is so yummy. So I go with that, but an easier, cheaper option is the square, short crust pastry that you find in the freezer section. You can pull them straight out and use them. This one, it comes out a little thicker. I find it ideal for bigger pies, but for the mini ones, I like to roll it out a little bit further so it's a bit finer. So for you guys, that might be just too much effort, and that is perfectly fine. The other pastry is just as yummy. So then you're going to need your pan. Now, I use one of these. I don't know what it's called. I will try and link one in my Shop My Favourites. I think they're patty pans. I've had these for years, and this is what I use them for. You'll also need a circle cutter that, as you can see, is sort of the size of that. I mean, if you don't have one of these, a glass, whatever works, but I think after you've made these, you will want the pan and the circle cutter because you'll be making them all the time because they're so good. Anyway, we'll get on with it, and yeah, I'll show you how easy it is. Okay, so you're going to fry off your bacon in just a small fry pan. Okay, so bacon is starting to sizzle. You don't want it on too high because you want to render some of that fat out, but then you want it nice and brown and delicious. And then you'll add your onions. I'll show you what you want it to look like. Bacon's cooking, and that will take a little bit of time, but it's not a drama, not too hard. You want to prepare your tin. Now, I just use a spray oil. Probably better to do it over the sink. Spray. So it's all sort of covered like that because you don't want your pastry sticky. Alright, so just a nice light coverage. I use coconut oil, but use whatever spray you prefer. So then we'll set that aside and we're going to prepare. Okay, you can see the bacon just starting to brown now, so it's a good time to add in your onions. And then give it all a stir up. And turn the temperature down so you can cook that until your onions soften. Turn it down to low and just let that cook away there until those onions are nice and soft. Let's start on the pastry for the quiche. One thing I did want to point out though, when you're cooking your bacon, if you're using shortcut or a bacon that doesn't have a lot of fat content in it, you may need a little bit of olive oil or a bit of butter or something just to keep a little bit of liquid in there to cook the onion. So don't be afraid to throw a little bit in there. I like to use the full bacon rashers because it adds really yummy flavour and you don't need added oil and all that sort of stuff. So, but completely up to you. Whatever bacon you love, whatever oil you like, do your thing. It's not going to matter. All right, so we take our little circle and you cut out your pastry. So I'm just going to do one of these to show you. And so you'll get it, because this was the same size as the top, you're probably going to need to stretch it out a little bit to fit it in. Now, I am, as you probably know by now, not a fussy cook. I don't mind if my edges are a little bit rough like that. I mean, the food tastes good. There's no stress, So just do your best. Get them in there. If you find it easier to use a bit bigger circle cutter and you don't have to do that, fine. Just get one slightly bigger than your pan, maybe coming out to the side like that. Whatever floats your boat. I just find it good this way. It just stretches out and you're good. You don't have to use as much pastry that way either. Okay, so let's do that again.
cut out the circle. Got our circle. Just give her a little stretch. Put it in. So you can see it like that. And that just fits down fine. All right, so you're going to want to do your whole pan, which I will do and come back. You don't need to watch that, a bit boring. We're going to do the egg mixture now that we're going to use for the quiche. I like to use one of these, it makes it nice and easy. And so you just crack 2 eggs. Again, don't worry, the recipe will be on the website. And you will want 1/4 cup of cream. So 1/4 cup, use your measure, that's about 1/4 cup. And you can add in some salt and pepper, but I find that the bacon is quite salty anyway, so it doesn't really need it. Make sure this is all done up and you can shake. It doesn't need a whole hell of a lot of shaking, you just want it to be fairly well mixed, which that is, and that's it. This is how you want your bacon, a little bit brown. Onion is translucent, ready to go. These babies together. So you're going to take a little bit of bacon. You don't want to overfill these because they're just small. So you're just going to put a little bit in the bottom, like that. Do each one. Make sure there's bacon and onion. And those little brown bits are also good. So don't worry about them getting in. They're full of flavour and yummy. That's enough filling for them. Well, that one might need a little more, just in there. Then you're going to pour some of this in. Now be very careful, don't overfill because it will just go everywhere. So about that. These are such a yummy option for so many things. Even like a little tea party, high tea, to put on a high tea tray. So many different options. Oh, it's leaking. Okay, so now we're going to bring over our grated cheese and top these off with a little bit of cheese. It doesn't need much. Again, you don't want to go nuts and overfill everything. It'll melt down, so just pop it in the middle like that. Oops, try to get it in the quiche. Oh, my mouth's watering just looking at them now because I know how yummy they are. So this recipe will make about 24. I do have another pan, so I'll continue to fill those, but if you don't, just cook them and then pull them out, put them on a cooling rack and fill up your other lot. Okay, so that's them. Easy peasy. Not too complicated, a little bit of time, I suppose, with the cutting out of the pastry and all that, but it's all very basic. And if you use those square sheets, so much easier, and you'll get a lot of quiche out of them too. So I'll show you when these babies are cooked. I just wanted to show you guys something. If you overfill your quiche, you will get some sticking on the pan like that. So just use a knife, pull it out, and I mean, look, if it gets too stuck, that's yours to eat. That's the rules. But anyway, I just want to show you, don't stress. If it's stuck and they don't pop out, there's a little bit more around there. just loosen it up with the knife and lift them out. Easy peasy. Now, also I wanted to show you this colour is what you want if you want to reheat them. If you would like to eat them now, then make them a little browner. Because otherwise, if you cook them as you want to eat them and then freeze them, you've got nowhere to go. You put them in the oven and they'll burn. So anyway, that's just why these are a bit lighter, because they're going in the freezer.